Dynamite download.
AEW 2020, John Silver.
Special event, as you can see, SPD.
For a splashing good time. January recruitment month for them.
I come along, I come along in the ring.
I mean, I would not want to hear that. I would not. Oh, we got great this year at SPD.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Woo! What's up, gentlemen?
Down.
Woo indeed.
I got to
Yeah.
crack a cold one because we're in for a treat. It is the final countdown to Full Gear.
Smart man, dude.
'Cause you know we're gonna be drinking
celebrating
cold ones. Yeah, we're going to be drinking cold ones at the end of Full Gear with Hangman as well,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Cowboy shit. But as we'll get into our predictions as well. But, I mean, this is quickly approaching this pay-per-view, guys, and we got a couple matches added to the card. You know, how are you guys thinking? I know we were all there for All Out Live. How is this card stacking up to your, comparing it to All Out to you guys?
Well, I know for me personally, I think that all of the AEW pay-per-views are pretty stacked. They do a good job of building these feuds, but I mean, looking from top to bottom, you see just a ton of awesome matches here, and I'm so excited for mainly the main event with Kenny and Hangman. I think it's going to be a good passing of the torch. So I think for All Out was a little different because we were expecting some debuts and some crazy stuff happening. It was a different vibe. This feels like, okay, like this is a huge pay-per-view, a huge opportunity. This is the first pay-per-view since Bryan Danielson debuted, the first, pay-per-view since Adam Cole debuted. There's a lot of big names on this card, so I'm just excited.
Yeah, I think that you nailed that, Bond. I think you're right. All Out, it felt like that was going to be, you know how like when you see a movie, right, and you see a movie and it ends with a cliffhanger and it makes you want more. It felt like All Out was one of those where it's like you got a surprise ending to All Out. I mean, you had Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, baby,
All about
to
the
end the show.
budge.
debut at that pay-per-view. You saw CM Punk's in-ring debut, but you had all this crazy stuff happen at All Out that blindsides you and gets you wanting to come back for more. And I feel like Full Gear is the payoff to that. You've now the debut of Bryan Danielson means something tremendous in the landscape going forward. He's in the number one contenders match.
Yep.
You get an opportunity to see CM Punk elevated to something where Bonds, you talked about this earlier on about CM Punk, about how you're ready for him to be in something that felt like a feud, felt like that it mattered.
Yep.
Like he's not just thrown into random matches where it's like, hi, everybody, I'm here again. It actually has some venom behind the story and some vitriol, and these guys are at each other's throats.
Yeah.
To me, Full Gear feels like this is going to start a whole new chapter. It's the closing and the payoff of all the things that happened at All Out, and that pay-per-view weekend was absolutely amazing. You guys are both right. AEW does such a great job making their pay-per-views feel epic. And jam-packing these shows with so much content.
Yeah.
I think that obviously all eyes are on the main event, but there's a lot of matches on this card that I want to talk to you guys about because I feel like this card, especially with some of the late adds to it, there's no lulls. There's no matches that jump out at you as, oh yeah, this is definitely a dud. These are all like absolute banger matches. So
Yeah.
SPD, you put the Full Gear card predictions out there. You circulated those to Bonds and I. I have not seen any of your guys' picks. So
Do you want me
genuinely
to throw them up there, or do you want to go one by one?
No, one by one. I think that's the way to go. I think
Okay.
All right.
I want to be surprised when I talk to you guys. I want to hear
All right.
what you guys have to say, and I want to have to defend some of my picks that I think are surprises, or the ones that I wrestled with. So, let's get into the first one, fellas. I think we just talked a little bit about CM Punk. Bonds. Why don't we start with that feud with Eddie Kingston? I'm going to throw it over to you as the CM Punk slappy of the group. Talk to us about where your head's at with this feud.
Yeah, well, I picked CM Punk in my prediction to win this match, and why I did that was because I think that getting a feud going with these two makes a lot of sense and be a lot of fun. The promo work would be epic. The ring stuff would be interesting and intense. And I think that Punk winning this and maybe doing it in a way where it's personal would make it even more interesting after the pay-per-view. I think that this could be the start of something really special and fun. And getting these guys going at a pay-per-view, this almost starting the feud at the pay-per-view. It's not like the opposite of what we normally get. And
That's
I think
true.
that it could be really cool, a cool way to start this, where there could be a big moment to end this match that really gets this going even more and makes it more personal than it already is. It'd be a lot of fun personally for me. I think it'd be great.
What about you, SPD? Where are you at?
As much as I love both these guys, I'm picking CM Punk all the way. I don't think, and we've discussed this on our show, like which new star is going to take their first L. Include, the 3 new additions. I guess you can even count 4 with Ruby if you want to throw her in the mix with this tournament.
That's true.
CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, all about to budge, and Ruby Soho. And I don't think CM Punk's losing any time, losing this match right here. And it is made a feud that kind of came out of nowhere is making it very meaningful. Very excited for this one. Just the, shenanigans and the mic work that we were seeing. I almost wish we had one more week of mic work for this one.
Yeah.
A little bit more buildup. I would, it's there.
Yeah.
But as selfishly, I want one more week of this. But, I'm picking CM Punk. I think, he's back, and to put Eddie over would be fine. I would support it, but at the same time, I think CM Punk's still going to be riding this winning streak for a little while longer.
Yeah, I think that you're not being selfish when you say that you want to see more of this. I think that in the very short period of time, these two guys have made this feel very, very personal. I love how AEW has brought in tape from their independent work together. I mean, I know that maybe the Ring of Honor stuff with Punk is the highlight of his independent career for a lot of people. Like when he was really breaking through in Ring of Honor, he was one of the OGs there. But some of his experience in IWA Mid-South with Kingston, some of the stuff that they showed was great. And it really did. I mean, we've talked about this countless times. Eddie Kingston has a real unique talent at being able to draw you in emotionally. For anybody out there who didn't read his article that he wrote about his journey into professional wrestling and where he is, and so his struggles with depression and mental health and substance abuse, and talking a lot about the loss of his friend Larry Sweeney, and giving props to John Moxley in a very poignant moment of the article about John taking the time to break away and take care of himself. Eddie is a guy who he's so raw, guys, and it's so easy to get invested in what he does. And
for sure.
And I think that CM Punk, we've all been wanting to see Punk go toe to toe with a master on the mic. And I think immediately for most AEW fans, that guy you think of as MJF. And while MJF versus CM Punk will be a great feud one day,
yep.
I have to say CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston has quickly become a feud that has me hooked. I'm with Bonds on this. I think that, and I'm with you, SPD. I think that you said it well. I think that, although this was a very short build, it feels like these two guys can go and stretch this out a little longer. There's a lot more meat on the bone, as I like to say, between Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. I think that these two guys could go at it for a long time. So when I was making this decision, I was struggling with, what helps this feud go further. Because Eddie Kingston, we've all talked about it. He kind of sometimes has that reputation of losing a lot of like his big matches, and I didn't want to continue more of the same, but I do think that if we pay attention to what's being said, Kingston's made it very clear he doesn't really care about winning the match. He just cares about proving a point and hurting CM Punk. And I think if Punk finds a way to win, but Kingston has that moral victory of, punishing Punk or proving a point, I think that this could go for round 2, no doubt. So I think all three of us were going to start this show off with a clean sweep. So there's no tiebreaker quite yet. We're all going in with CM Punk to win this one. I don't think he loses anytime soon.
Another one that I feel pretty confident that we're going to have the tiebreaker is, the buy-in, which was a late addition to the card, which we knew we were kind of excited.
Really
excited. The card was so stacked of what's going to be on the buy-in. And not only did we get one more match, but we got 2 more matches added last minute on Dynamite. So that's why we waited to release our bingo cards. But, this is ultimately just kind of keeping momentum for the TBS title tournament. I mean, these are 4 women that are remaining in the tournament. Obviously, we have Thunder versus Hayter, and then Sheeta, and Nyla with a rematch in the tournament. So it makes sense to put more of these contenders on the card. I was kind of hoping for maybe another, 2 singles matches and to continue this tournament to kind of give this tournament more eyes and hype. But I'll take this tag match. I mean, we saw what Thunder did last week on Dynamite, or yesterday on Dynamite. And Sheeta has been putting on some great matches. So hopefully, Deeb didn't hurt her too well, but, it doesn't matter who she's against, but Thunder is always going to be my pick of choice, as you know.
Love it.
I feel it, SPD. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you again. I picked Thunder and Sheeta to win this match. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see Jamie Hayter really against both of them. That'll be a lot of fun because we haven't gotten to really see that with her yet. She's always taking that back seat to Britt. And so I think that this might be a cool opportunity to get her on TV more. And obviously Nyla is always an enforcer. So we're going to get a lot of really cool stuff in this one. And I think that we might see some animosity happen with Sheeta and Thunder too, because, Sheeta's kind of gone on that heel streak a little bit, even though Deeb's been more heelish,
Your best friend Chris has been talking about how he wants to see Sheeta go more heel. It's shocking.
There we go. Chris is on the money there. If you're watching, Chris, thanks for your input, man. I always appreciate you.
Yep.
I'm in agreement with SPD. What about you, Mr. Crayfish?
Well, I mean, listen to both you guys. I think, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not picking against Thunder Rosa and Sheeta in this match. Yeah. Both of those women are on Team Crayfish from our draft back in the day. I love this pairing. I think that Thunder is a natural leader, and her fire, her energy, her offense is going to go pair really well with Sheeta's striking. Sheeta's impressed me. Her match against Deeb was absolutely phenomenal. I think we all talked about that as being really the standard of this tournament so far. They set the bar very high.
Did they ever?
I love the 2 styles that these 2 teams are going to bring, though, because I just said Thunder and Sheeta both have that phenomenal striking, very impactful offense, and Hayter and Nyla are 2 powerhouses. So you're going to really have a really great, both teams have a clear identity going in this match. You're going to have those technical strikers versus those power brutes. And I think that ultimately we're going to kick off Full Gear with the fans excited, the fans pumped. They're going to see Sheeta and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa! They're tear it up. They're going to win, and it's going to be a great start to the show. So far, we're all unanimous. Are we going to have – what's the next one, SPD? Are we going to have a break anytime soon?
So the next one is one I know that we're all eyes on this one, but the Miro and Bryan Danielson in the World Title Eliminator Tournament Finals. Obviously we know the story how Miro got added to this. And this is one of the ones that I was going back and forth on a lot because obviously you talked on your special cameo yesterday on the our Dynamite download how Pac was on your Mount Rushmore, Bryan Danielson was on mine, and Miro been loving what he's been doing. Absolutely incredible promos, absolutely incredible stuff in the ring. It looks great, in great shape. But the same goes for Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
the guy, he looks like $1 million. He's a man of a million holds, a man of a million finishers. Could take a chop like no other. His chest is, as you said, like raw ground beef sometimes by Eddie Kingston, which reminds me of our tiebreaker at the end, which we'll talk about. But even so, I try in past pay-per-views, I was kind of going with my gut, going with my like how I want to book it. So obviously, I would book, sadly, going against my guy Bryan Danielson, Miro to win, because I think overall, if you're looking at the big picture, Miro to win, it would be more compelling to me and the future matches in that. But that being said, my choice is Bryan Danielson. I can't do him dirty. I am picking Bryan Danielson to win this tournament and to take down the Redeemer, Miro.
All right. I love how you built up to that, and then you're like, well, I couldn't do
Just
it anyway.
kidding.
I couldn't do it anyway.
I gotta stay true. Hey, you
honest to
said
God,
QT Marshall, and you stayed true to your
you're
values.
right. I had the same feeling though. I struggled a lot with like,
Sure.
do I go with my gut in these picks, or like in my heart, who I love and who I want to win, or do I? Because I'm tired of getting so many wrong. So I booked it with the way that I think it's going to play out. I think that Miro is winning this match. I think that Miro against Hangman Page makes a lot of sense. Not to spoil my pick for the main event, but I think that Miro, the trajectory of this character, he's onto something, man. And I think that Danielson, Danielson doesn't lose much from losing the way that Miro has been presented. And personally, I just think that Miro being fresh in this tournament, having the power advantage against Danielson, and if you caught Miro's promo, and he talked a little bit, he hinted at it. Miro's only weakness to this point has been presented as his neck. Danielson has a history of neck issues himself, so
true.
I mean.
They even talked about that.
The one kryptonite that he had, well, Danielson has the same. So it's hard to bet against a dominant figure like Miro right now. He's my pick.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Crayfish. I'm picking Miro as well. I do think that it would make for a more compelling match with Hangman Page. I am going to spoil maybe later, but we've talked about this so much.
Yeah.
It's not really a spoiler if you watch our show.
Right.
But I do think that Miro versus Hangman would be awesome, and I think that this match will be an epic. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the longest match of the pay-per-view, and I think that it's going to make both of these guys look awesome coming out of it.
You don't see this being like Miro. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania?
That would be pretty funny though if Tony Khan was like, "Here, we're gonna
7 seconds or whatever."
It's gonna be 6 seconons though, just so he can one up.
That would be hilarious.
That'd
be hilarious. But if anybody's capable of that, Miro would be that guy. I understand why SPD has Bryan Danielson on his Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
this guy is absolutely amazing in the ring.
I had a hard time with this bingo card more so than All Out. I think
this was one of the tougher ones.
Yeah, it was tough. There's a lot of matches on this that I think can go either way.
Yeah, this is definitely the first one of many. I think you're right on.
Speaking of matches that could go either way, though, MJF and Darby Allin,
baby.
who are two pillars of AEW, the future of this company. Man, guys, who do you think, Crayfish? I know you're the choo-choo guy of the Darby Express. The choo-choo! I want to hear your thoughts and what your pick is going to be for this one.
Baby, this one, I don't know if I've ever wanted an outcome in a AEW match as much as I want this. I want Darby to take MJF to the woodshed.
Wow.
I know that Darby's been, SPD and I have argued ad nauseum about him being a crash test dummy. I hope that his reckless, like just crazy offense gets the better of MJF, and we finally see MJF. We've seen him run scared a few times in this feud already. I would love to see like just him. I mean, I know he stole a line from Crayfish's book about playing chess while Darby Allin's playing checkers.
That's right.
I hope that Darby kind of flips the board over. I hope that Darby's offense is so wild and crazy in this match that the whole chessboard goes flying off the table. MJF is left scrambling. The only way I see this potentially playing out in MJF's favor is if somehow, some way, his stooges get involved with Sean Spears and his bodyguard Wardlow.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But I think that this is the match. I think this is the match where we start to see chinks in the armor. We're already starting to see seeds planted with Wardlow and MJF. I think that this is the difference. I think that we're gonna see. We're gonna see Wardlow play a role in the outcome of this match, and I think that it's gonna end up being in Darby Allin's favor.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that there's gonna be a moment where, even though I'm a War Dog fan, I'm a huge fan of his. I think that he's gonna end up costing MJF this match, and I think it's gonna end up being the fissure that cracks that relationship. I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match. Sting, Spears, Wardlow, even Tully. I think there's going to be a lot of outside noise getting involved, and that's part of MJF's game, right?
He surrounds himself by people that are great.
Yeah,
stooges.
But it's part of him being that master manipulator of trying to always set himself up to be in situations where he has the advantage.
Yep.
I just think that Darby's a wild card. I think that Darby's a guy that kind of like Roddy Piper, where you think you have all the answers, he changes all the questions. I just think he's the type of guy who's going to always keep you on your toes because it's hard to understand and really know what he's going to do next. I love that about him. He's just he's kind of a lunatic out there. I love it. So I'm in with Darby.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Who are you going to pick, Bonds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here I'm picking Darby Allin also. Actually, yeah. I kind of got burned on the MJF bandwagon at All Out because I would have won the whole thing if he would have retired Chris Jericho. Man,
we all won on that one.
Yeah, right.
Holy smokes! My mind is blown, bro.
His number one overall pick. He's not
betting
picking
against his top
number one overall pick. He's
wow. See, the way I thought this segment was gonna go was I was gonna give a love fest for Darby, and then you were gonna go in with MJF, and it was gonna be a perfect blend of peanut butter and jelly. But no. I didn't know I was getting double peanut butter.
You're getting a double peanut butter. We're making a triple peanut butter. I don't know what SPD's pick is.
Wow.
But
speaking of peanut butter, I got peanut butter whiskey in the fridge.
This is like chunky peanut butter now because it's totally.
I love a good chunky peanut butter.
Oh, exactly. But man, it's kind of for the same reasons you said, Crayfish. I think that Darby in this feud has been kind of presented as that guy who's kind of going to take that step here, and I think that he's going to go out there to show MJF who he is. And I think that's awesome. And I think it's the kind of match that he needs to win. MJF's been very personal and very, very mean to Darby in this feud. Not that he's nice to anybody, but I think that it would be a bad look for Darby to lose this one. And I think that he's going to end up beating Max. And I think that the Wardlow stuff is interesting because I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of, blow up moment for Wardlow and that kind of costs him, like where MJF's like, hey, you idiot, get in this match, help me win. And he's like, dude, like, no, I'm good. I'm done. Yep. Like, I went out and had a singles match and won in 5 seconds.
How many times am I going to get pushed into a baseball bat for you? That type of stuff. And I'm genuinely shocked that you took Darby on this. But this
will be the time that MJF wins, and I'm totally
exactly. Yeah. And that's typical MJF fashion. He always kicks you in the nuts if you're nice to him. He's such a jerk.
He'll block you.
But yeah, exactly. What a coward. SPD. I want to throw it to you because
this is the big one.
What's interesting to me on this is during what Bonds was talking about, he mentioned betting on MJF and coming up short at All Out, and. Right. I was thinking about the same thing with Darby. Was Darby lost a big match at All Out, and so did MJF, and that's kind of wild to think that one of these two Pinnacle members, is going to be one of these two pillars of AEW is going to lose back-to-back pay-per-views. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that wild though to think about? Is one of these two young stars is going to lose back-to-back big matches at a pay-per-view?
That is wild, and I know. Unlike Bonds, Crayfish, you stuck to your gut and you picked Darby Allin last pay-per-view, and you're high draft pick on that as well. But
betting against him.
I know you guys. I'm a big chunky peanut butter fan. I have to put that out there. The chunkier, the better. That is the way to go. But I'm going to throw some sour grapes in there, and I picked MJF.
Of course, we need some jam.
I gotta have a little jam on this.
You need to raise me up on MJF again, bro. I need to hear it. You gotta remind me why he's the number one pick.
Well, here's the thing: is like we're gonna take sour grapes, and they're just full of mold, mush them up, and put that in that double chunky peanut butter sandwich, and eat that cat poop. You're gonna eat that, and like in our draft, I went to Mindrunner. For my final pick, and I saw Mindrunner's card. He picked MJF too, so we're on the same wavelength with that one right there. So MJF, I think, is going to take the cake. And part of my pick for this was, looking at the landscape of the card, the baby faces versus heel. Yeah. And so I think this is one where the heel prevails, and I think it would do so much more for MJF than it would be for Darby Allin. Yes, of course, I want to see MJF get knocked into the next atmosphere by both Wardlow and Darby, especially after the stuff that's been going on, the salt of the earth. But and I told you before, Crayfish, if Darby Allin does do that to MJF, I'm going to get my tickets to the Darby Express and come all aboard and, leave me in the front row seat as well.
Oh, so baby, I'm going to have that whistle out, baby. I'm going to be doing it all night. I'll be going around the living room strutting if Darby pulls this one off, man. I get it. I get what you're saying. I mean, I think that if MJF does win this, there's a lot of people who would want to see MJF in the world title picture. This is the type of match where if he does beat one of the pillars of AEW, he said maybe he goes on a
pillar.
Maybe he wants to knock all the other pillars down.
I think that would be a
Tony Schiavone talked about that in the promo building up to the pay-per-view that, he looks at himself as being the top guy and no one else can be on the top of the mountain but him. So maybe this is his tour of knocking out all the other members, all the other pillars of the company so that he could then become champ. Maybe he goes after the TNT title against Sammy Guevara. Maybe he goes against the world championship. But that could be a story. I get it. I just think that Darby's one of those guys, man. I know that he never loses credibility if he loses a match just because of the way he approaches a match and his reckless style. But I don't want Darby to fall into the trap of being a guy who loses those big matches. I don't want that to become a pattern for him because when you pair those big losses with his style of offense, he's the type of guy who could not lose credibility in the eyes of a casual fan a little quicker, right? Because he's a lot of his offenses, like you talk about SPD, a lot of his matches, he's getting thrown around. He's getting beat up 90% of the match. You start having a guy do that and lose in his big matches, it's just dangerous. And I don't like that chemistry. And as the conductor of the Darby Express, I don't have time for that negativity. I want him to just plow on through MJF and keep on moving, baby. Now we got a chance to talk about Bonds' favorite in the whole wide world, his number one pick, MJF. Got a chance to talk about my guy, Darby. Let's move on to the next one, SPD, because we get to talk about one of your members on your Mount Rushmore, Chris Jericho.
Le Champion. Man, this
going
one
against America's top team. Tell me about it.
We've loved Men of the Year, this transition for this one for sure. I mean, and early on, Bonds and I talked about it yesterday, but early on, the American top team stuff I could not stand. And then all of a sudden you pair up Chris Jericho, who is an absolute, gold mine on the mic, and the ultimate, yin to his yang, Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert.
For sure. It paired so well. And I think these guys, the promo battles and the fighting was working so well. And ultimately, Inner Circle is going to prevail. They are the king of group matches, of gang warfare. You have a great blend of styles. Obviously, speaking of gang warfare, Santana Ortiz, you got the high flying Sammy Guevara, and then the battle tested warrior in Jake Hager right there, and then the leader. And so time and time again, we've seen the Inner Circle take beatdowns from American Top Team. So this is just leading up for their time to shine at the pay-per-view. Leave us all happy. Leave us, start it happy where we're going to sing Judas, and then leave us happy when we're singing Judas as well. So this would be a perfect match to follow that Darby and MJF one, with MJF winning, and then bring the crowd back in, suck them back in, and do that. But I think this one, before, if what happened yesterday didn't happen, I think it would have been a different story. But American Top Team and Dan Lambert got their high moment yesterday. I don't think you're seeing them have another high moment. I think Dan Lambert's going to get pinned in the middle of the ring, or he's going to tap out and start crying like a little baby. It would be cool if he really went all in and got a little bit of color even, like that. I think the guy is committed. He's committed to what he's been doing.
Yes.
He's very smart too. He delivers a very smart promo. Obviously, it can be piercing to the ears and annoying, but at the same time, like, the guy, he's smooth and he does his job perfectly, in my opinion. But I don't think anyone's going to be dethroning the Inner Circle anytime soon in any kind of those group matches for me. And Inner Circle squad all the way.
Yeah, man, I am with you, SPD. Time to get the fat face dipshit off my TV. Let's do it. Man, I'm excited for this one again. I like when MMA and wrestling combine. I like that. I'm excited about this match. I do think that this is the end of the feud. Whatever happens, it's the end. But I do think Inner Circle is going to win, and I think that Dan Lambert's going to take some good bumps. He's going to be a good sport and take some awesome bumps in this one, and kind of get that retribution for what he's been saying about AEW and the audience and the talent. It's going to be a good feel good moment for everybody in there. You can just cheer for his suffering. It'll be great. And hopefully when we get some more stuff with Men of the Year after this as well. So even if Dan Lambert sticks around and maybe is like some sort of manager with these guys, would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that the story has kind of played itself to a good point. It's kind of at that peak naturally, and I think that they timed it really well. They didn't really run too long. I was starting to feel that fatigue, so I'm glad that we're going here, and it's going to be like in 2 days, and we're ready to see it end in a good way at a pay-per-view with probably a great match. I'm assuming this one's gonna be awesome. But yeah, Inner Circle is my pick.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by you. I think this one feels like we talk a lot about like the long-term storytelling that AEW does. We're going to get more into that later on in the show.
Yep.
And how some of the matches have had such quick short builds and it still feels amazing. This is one of the ones where it feels like it's just right. The porridge is perfect temperature.
The peanut butter is perfectly chunky.
It's perfectly chunky.
There's no rotten grapes in the sandwich.
Exactly. This is I feel like this is perfect. I think this is working really, really well. I think and they're hitting the crescendo right at the right time. I do think that I was struggling a little bit about this because I do think that America's Top Team, I think that Paige Van Zant still remains as like a wild card. That's, she's not in this match, but I feel like she has arguably been the most charismatic impressive or breakout star out of all this, out of America's Top Team coming in. Obviously, you guys know I love All Ego, but I think that Paige Van Zant sort of has a little bit more has some of that breakout star potential. And I think that if she played a difference in this match and cost the Inner Circle the match, IC wouldn't lose any steam really. And she'd obviously gain a big breakout star, but I think that she is going to be involved in some way. For some reason, I just have this gut feeling that Jake Hager's wife is going to stop her. I just have this feeling she's been so involved with his career. I don't know. I just get this vibe. Maybe it sets up a match between Paige Van Zant's husband and who's in this match, and Jake Hager,
cool.
in an MMA style, right? Maybe that continues this feud. But let's just hope that these matches go this way, guys. Because if the Inner Circle loses and So Eddie Kingston wins the match earlier on, and I mean, we're got a lot of similarities. We're all on the same page here. So
We're in trouble if we're wrong.
if some of these are wrong, we're gonna be getting big. We're gonna be really flopping hard. I'm with both of you guys. Make it a clean sweep. Inner Circle wins this one.
Yeah, man, they have to. They're one of the home teams of AEW, and they got some foreigners coming into the space, and so they got to show what pro wrestling is all about, how they do it there in the squared circle. But all about the buzz, baby.
You love that so much.
The Falls Count Anywhere, Young Bucks, Adam Cole versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, and this feud has been fantastic since its culmination. And I gave you guys the question. I'm like, how would you book these guys at the pay-per-view? And it kind of made sense, the way that they were taking these people out, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage out one by one, and to feature all of them. And they're all 6 of these guys are too good to not be featured in some kind of match. But Falls Count Anywhere match, I mean, this could be, we essentially have two multi-man gang warfare matches with this one and the Inner Circle. So like splitting this up, I mean, you're going to have a lot of stuff going on all throughout the arena and outside the ring. And then the Minneapolis street fight one, man, that's going to be all over the place. I wonder if they're going to do a little bit of cinematic stuff that we've seen in the past with the Inner Circle stuff. But, the Super Click is I mean, the Elite have been riding so high as of late. They are doing some fantastic stuff, and it is not slowing down. There's no steam coming out of this conducting of the Elite train, because they are full steam ahead on it. They're doing some fantastic stuff.
They are.
After a great match Jungle Boy had with Anthony Bowens, and he's going to have another match with Bobby Fish. So I think ultimately Bobby Fish will be the one that really puts them over the edge. So who would, you throw Marco Stunt in there or someone else like to try to help out Jurassic Express and Cage, but, and Frankie Kazarian even. So, the Elite Hunter. But I still think the numbers game is going to play into effect here, and the Super Click Party Baby is going to be victorious on this as well.
Well, I'll jump in really quick. I think that I had a really hard time with this one, and I think I'm probably going to be wrong on this one. I picked the Young Bucks and Adam Cole as well. I picked the Super Click to win just because I feel like, man, Adam Cole and the Bucks, like they feel like they're so hot right now. They're so it. I think that they're like, it's really hard to pick against them, but I get this vibe, even though I picked them, I get a feeling I'm going to probably be wrong. I just get this vibe that JB, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage are going to pull this one off, because I feel like the Elite have been riding high for so long that it could be a very compelling story and drama if they all lost at Full Gear.
Right.
And just like the Elite can't call themselves the Elite anymore if they all lose. And so I think that could happen.
To the drawing board, like what the heck is going on? That would be really.
I think that could be the story. So that's part of the reason why I feel so much inner struggle with this. But at the end of the day, I just think that the Young Bucks and Adam Cole are just so good at what they do that I'm not picking against them. I want them to win, and I know that they're the bad guys. So sign me up, Team Heel, baby, all aboard. But yeah, dude, those guys are amazing at what they do. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here with you, Bonds, right?
Call it a sweep.
Yeah, son.
Because man, I also picked the Super Click. For a lot of the same reasons you guys did, but man, I just don't see them losing again on a pay-per-view twice in a row. The Young Bucks and Adam Cole in his pay-per-view debut in a match in AEW. I just think that this is too big of a platform for this. I think there's gonna be too many eyes, and I think it'll be a great match, a lot of fun, and they've done a good job putting this together. But I just don't see the Super Click losing, and I can't really add much more because you guys said it all. So Adam, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think we're like there's a reason why we all picked them, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're probably all going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Just so everyone can update, I got the master list here. So far, we have a surprise. The two heels, Crayfish and Bonds, have the same exact pick.
Lockstep, baby.
Boy, SPD is got a couple rogue picks with going for Bryan Danielson topping Miro, which both heels over there took Miro, and I picked MJF, even though I'm a babyface, and the others picked Darby, the Darby Express as well. But this was another one. The tag team titles are on the line, and after we saw Dax the Axe, Mr. Grumpy Pants himself, Grumpy Uncle, he had an outstanding performance last night, and Crayfish's team. He's a top guy team, man, and so Crayfish to lead things off, man. Lucha Brothers and SPD special, or the Crayfish special, the FTR top guys. Who's it going to be?
I think that I'm being put in a really bad spot here because
you overthink it. You don't stick to your heart like you did at All Out. But
I can't do it. I can't bet against. I mean, I just don't see the Lucha Brothers losing the belts this soon after All Out. All Out was such an awesome, just an awesome experience seeing them beat the Bucks the way they did in the cage. That was just an incredible title victory for them, and I just don't think that they're going to lose the belts this quick. With FTR not having their belts on the line. I think that they're gonna end up losing this match. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't want it to happen because I would love to see FTR. I called it a long time ago, SPD, when I told you like the tag division was felt like it was kind of taking a back seat to all the newcomers, the women's division, all these new faces. The bread and butter, the reason why I fell in love with AEW from the get is this incredible tag division. And I felt like they were kind of taking a back seat, and it was going to be FTR that was going to lead the revival of this tag division. I absolutely would love to be wrong with my pick on this. I would love to see FTR win those tag belts, walk around with both straps. That would be amazing visual.
So cool.
It would be so badass. And I really want that to happen, but I don't think it will tonight on Saturday. I just don't think it's going to end up happening. So I'm trying to pick for accuracy, not for my heart. So
we better not clip that and tag Uncle Dax, man.
No, never. Please don't. I don't want to lose my FTR. He might take my FTR jacket from me.
He's going to find you and beat the crap out of you.
You better not be wearing that FTR jacket on Saturday night, bro.
Yeah, you can't
put
wear
your
it on
luchador
Saturday,
mask
bro.
on.
I don't know. Trust me, again, if I was booking this, then you'd have FTR walking out with both sets of belts. But I just think that AEW is not going to change the belts this quickly.
You can't have them change that quickly, in my opinion. Even as hot of a team as FTR has been, even if they do cheat to win, I don't see that happening. But Lucha Brothers, there must be some kind of, unless there's some kind of injury that we don't know about.
You've been hinting at that. You've been noticing they limp down the ramp. Like they really look like they're gingerly running down the ramp when they've been coming down.
I know. So crossing my fingers, not because, the curse of the death triangle has been the injuries for sure. So it has been some kind of voodoo curse on that. But Lucha Brothers are the best tag team in the world right now. And they need to continue their reign by dethroning the top, taking out the top guys and then just line up the next challengers. Because I want these titles defended week in and week out because Lucha Brothers always put on show-stealing matches. And I think this would be another one. I think this would be like a great way to start the show, I want to get your guys' take. I hope not, because I got to rush back from work so I can watch the pay-per-view. I hope this isn't it, because it's one I'm most looking forward to, of just pure raw talent in the ring. Yeah. Two unique, different styles that are going to clash on there. So Lucha Brothers all the way from SPD on it, and I can't wait for this one. Bonds?
Oh, same, man. After the epic that was All Out with that tag team match and just how crazy it was in the spots and just the crazy jumps and just the emotions at the end of it, I don't know how you can take the belts off of the Lucha Brothers that quick. They've hardly had any chances to defend them.
Really?
It would feel like such a wet fart after that amazing win they had it All Out, and
yeah, you have.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
We've all been there. It would be terrible. So I'm picking them because I just feel like that would be such a letdown for their title reign. But I would like to see this feud go more because I love what they're doing. And I wouldn't be upset either way. I just think it would be kind of a disappointment to see them lose the belts that fast. So that's why I picked the Lucha Bros.
Yeah, I think that's the logical choice. I agree.
Yeah, but this one coming up, there's not a lot of logic involved because we're talking about Malachi Black, Andrade El Idolo versus Cody and Pac. This story is all over the place, and there could be debuts going on during this. There could be just crazy stuff happening. There could be Cody turning heel, making everybody happy, or he could just continue being the happy good guy and making everybody hate him. You know, there's so much stuff going on in this one. This was the hardest one for me to pick.
Yeah.
Personally, and I picked Andrade and Malachi to win this. Mostly because I do think that we're going to see some stuff happen with the House of Black storyline, because Malachi has hinted at that on social media. He's talked about, you know, there's going to be some changes going on with my character, and, you know, like, I want to add to the House of Black. He said it. He's talking about it. And I think that it would be interesting if that happens here. This would be a great place for it, whether it's somebody already on the roster or somebody that's not here yet that we're going to see debut. You know, because I don't want to see somebody interfere in the main event. I don't want to see any of that stuff. If there's going to be a spot, it's going to be a match like this where there's no titles on the line, where there's something that can be gained by adding somebody. And I think that if that happens, it will be for Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, and I think that that's why I'm picking them to win.
That makes sense.
Definitely. And what about you guys? Like, whoever can come step up to the plate. This is a tough one.
I want to hear Crayfish's, because
I know.
You know, this is another one that
more of the
I would
same.
be a little surprised.
More of the same for your guy Crayfish. So those of you who are loyal listeners know, you know, I have those that I absolutely. I mean, I love AEW, but I have those guys and those teams in this company that I will defend to the death. And the Bastard is, I've been saying it from the get, guys. I know everybody loves themselves some Kenny. I know there's a lot of CM Punk, Bryan Danielson fans out there, Okada fans. There's a lot of people who name out the best in the world. But I'm telling you, man, I think the Pac is the best in the world. I think he is that damn good. I'm just in awe of what this guy can do. That said, I don't see Malachi Black and Andrade losing this match. It pains me to go back-to-back segments where I'm picking against FTR and the Bastard Pac, but it's just that's where I think that's the way it's going to go down. And I think that there is going to be a big moment. I think that there's going to be there's going to be some sort of turn where
Pac.
I think that maybe Pac could turn on Cody. That's what I've thought maybe, but who knows? I mean,
it's so cool.
It's
The
tough
fans
to tell.
would cheer that, and you don't want. If
That's
you're
true.
The
fans would
Pac would be over.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, are they?
You have to have Ryback debut and beat up.
Are
Cody.
they really
Nobody will cheer that.
Are they really shying away from the cheers with Malachi and Andrade? I feel like they recognize that these guys are heels that are getting a big pop. Like, I don't know, man. If you put the Bastard, I don't know, man. The story's been the story's been crazy, dude. Maybe it has me off my rocker. I'm having a hard time on knowing where to go with this. The story has been it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed what they've been doing, but it's been very unpredictable. Maybe this is where we see Bray Wyatt. I don't know. That'd be cool. There's a lot that can happen.
I'm really surprised and a little disappointed that I'm gonna go get the chisel and carve off your Mount Rushmore, because you're not staying true to your Mount Rushmore. It doesn't matter who they're against or who they're teamed against. If my Mount Rushmore is up in the match, I'm staying true to my values on that. Storyline aside, I got to do that.
I had to.
Wow.
I'm always
the best in the world. He could be paired up with Marco Stunt against Black and El Idolo, and he should win.
I don't disagree with you. Okay, I don't disagree with you.
Cody
I'm just
Rhodes
telling
is
you,
fantastic.
I've looked at my track record to this point, and I always go with my heart. And I want to start winning. I want to start winning. So I think that Black and Andrade are going to win this match, even though I don't want that to happen. Even though I would, if I was head booker, I would find a way to make it so that Pac and Cody won, and it still made sense and protected both teams and all that great stuff. I just don't see Andrade and Malachi losing. I think that there's going to be something that gets involved. No, I'm not saying to you that this won't be match of the night, which it very well could be. It's going to be up there. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't think that the Bastard's not going to steal the show. But I just have a feeling that something's going to happen that's going to change the tides of this match. I agree with you, Bonds. This is one of those matches. It feels like if there's going to be a big debut, if there's going to be a big swerve, a big kind of oh my god moment, this is that kind of match. Especially with what they've been doing with playing with the lights and like the sneak attacks and stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're disappointed.
I'm shocked that you're betting against your guy, man. I'm so shocked. But honestly, it makes sense more for. I mean, first and foremost, I picked Pac and Cody. This is where I'm against you guys, man. I'm Team Cody, and I see your face over there, Bonds. You can't hide that. And so I picked them to win just because of the sheer dominant performer I know in Pac, and I'm all for Cody Rhodes keep continuing to push and to stay true to his values. That being said, both teams have Andrade and Pac 1-1, Malachi Black 2-1, Cody. If Cody gets a win, essentially they're even, and all this. So like there is no true dominant team, but obviously more of a team core is Black and El Idolo. Because they seem more aligned. Obviously, there's no true really alignment with Pac and Cody. So for Black and El Idolo to win, it makes more sense. But I want Pac and Cody to win badly. I want them to, succeed, and I want Pac to be pushed to the moon even more.
Thank you. I know
that. He deserves it, man.
I like that.
I don't know. I think,
like I said, the last match. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for FDR to win. This is a match too. I would love to be wrong. If you flip-flopped and you made me get both of those wrong, and I was dead last again,
stoked about it.
I'd be dead last again in this in these picks. I'd be happy to be last because then that would mean that I would be leaving that pay-per-view feeling like $1 million.
And this, like we've talked about for week in and week out, the Cody Rhodes saga is one of the more compelling stories that we're going to see, or that we've been trying to book and figure out. So I'm all for this one, and I hope they get the time and the storytelling that they deserve. I know it was a late addition to the card, but man, I want to see, because like, where would you go with Cody if he takes a loss? Like, what would you do?
I don't know where you go with him anyway. There's not really any that ends the storyline if he wins. I think, that's like 2 wins in a row, and like I think that it might be more interesting if something happens during this match. That's why I'm picking Black and El Idolo, is because I think that I don't think this is going to be clean. I think there's going to be something weird that happens. I just think that it's such a random pairing too with Pac. I know that Andrade and him have been feuding, but there's not really any ties with him and Cody.
Yeah, it's not like they're friends. I mean, I know that they've had moments where they have the enemy of my enemy, is my friend type of thing, where they've been helping each other out, but it's mostly just because they don't like the opposition. I don't see them being buddy.
Right. I can't either. Being tag teams. I feel
Bastard's not wired that way.
Like slap himself in to get tagged. He's not gonna be the typical tag team thing. I think he's gonna go in when he wants to go in. And be like, let me just handle business. The way he does.
That's what he does. He handles that business, son.
He does. And who else handles the business? The doctor. She doesn't make house calls, man, because she's coming to Full Gear to defend her title against Ty Conti in a match that has been a nice build. And I know you got your DMD shirt over there, but
yes, sir.
Let it be known. I mean, I honestly think the spotlight has kind of been, they're obviously focused on the new tournament, the TBS title tournament. There hasn't been too much of a spotlight on the champ. And so after this title defense, I think she can reignite some of the spotlight that we want her to have. and get more promo work. You know, there was those weeks where we kept getting promo after promo, a match every other few weeks and things like that, you know, headlining Rampage debut and all that stuff. So I think once we get past this Full Gear title defense, I think we'll get a resurgence of the title and then ultimately lead to the road to a rematch of Thunder Rosa. And so I think that'll be the ultimate payoff for that as well. So, you know, her being a champ, I want her to be champ long term, but I got to know for you guys, like, do you guys like long-term champs in terms of almost a year, like we're seeing with Kenny Omega and other ones, or do you like more 4 to 6 month champs? What do you prefer?
Well, I mean, I think it just depends on the story that's going on. And that's a cop-out answer, but it's how I feel. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm digging what's going on and I think that they're doing good work and like, you know, I see a lot of people online talking about Kenny feeling stale, and I don't think he feels stale, but you know, I
I
can
don't
see where you
either.
would think that. I could understand that argument to a point. Because it's been a lot of the same stuff, you know. He's kind of been doing the same thing for the better part of a year, but you know, I'm enjoying his title reign. So I think that these long-term title reigns can be fun. I think they can be cool. I also enjoy the stuff that's short as long as it makes sense and it elevates people and it doesn't feel like a waste or like somebody's being buried. You know, I've like we've talked about before, you know, when somebody goes and wins a title, like Zack Ryder winning the IC title at a pay-per-view just to lose it the next night on Raw is like embarrassing and
Yeah.
a slap in the face of
Don't
the
like that.
fans that invested in it. And they're like,
That's exactly right.
you know, like that's a slap in the face. And so like, and no matter what, as long as the reign is good and makes somebody coming out of it look better that needs to look better, then I'm cool with however long it is. That being said, I don't think Britt Baker loses the title at Full Gear. So, you know, I think that she's going to be champ for a long
Anytime
time,
soon.
and I think that if anybody ever takes that belt off her, it's going to be Thunder.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen for a while either. So I think that we've got the champ for a long time, and we can't overthink this one. And I'm sure Crayfish, you know, I'm sure he's picking Ty Conti here.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
gonna spare you guys my gushing over the DMD. I'm not picking against the Good Doctor. It ain't happening.
Right.
So I mean, that was the easiest. I looked at the card, circled that one right away, and then moved on to the rest. That was as easy as it gets for me. I like what Ty
against
Conti
Ty.
does.
Yeah,
No,
nothing
I like
against
what
her.
she does
She's
in the
growing
ring.
but
Yeah.
this seems like the
Well,
most
it's nothing
locked,
about Ty. It's
the most
about
locked
Britt.
match of the night is this one, in
That's
my
because
opinion.
Britt is the most dominant champion in AEW right now.
It would be the most shocking result of the show if Britt Baker's not the champion coming out of it. And no matter
Right.
what else happens in the pay-per-view, that would be the most shocking thing.
I know
And
we
I
have a
just
lot
don't
of
see it.
similar answers for all this, but this one definitely seems the most locked. But all the other matches, honestly, really could go either way. But this one, you know, I don't see Ty winning I think she is a future champ down the line,
Yeah,
just because
agreed.
of how her
Yeah.
growth and you know how she is with the fans and things like that. But the time is not now.
Huge baby face.
That's okay.
For sure.
Yeah, huge potential and huge great. And even Tony Khan said that he's seen so much growth in Ty, and I think she's a pivotal part of the women's division. But at the same time, there's the momentum is riding so high for the DMD, and it hasn't slowed down a bit. And like I mentioned earlier, like I want to see that resurgence. I want her to, you know, be like, who's next and all this stuff and talk all this smack and all that, and you know, kind of put down the TBS tournament and do that stuff. You know, put it over, but at the same time putting it down. Like that's what I want to see.
Britt's so good at that too. She's
Yeah.
really good at, like, you know, kind of building up her competition and being afraid of her competition, but also just like doing these lethal jabs that just rip their hearts out. Yeah, man, I just think that this one, like, Ty has got a ton of upside. We all agree.
Mm-hmm.
She's grown immensely, and she's quickly being presented in a way that, like, I mean, TJ is a great tag team. I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
But Tay is definitely like showing she's kind of a stud, a young stud in the ring. Like, she's just got that like
For
ability. I like her offense a lot, but I don't see her dethroning the Good Doctor. I think the DMD her reign is going to lead into 2022. I don't see that getting taken away anytime soon.
Do it with us. The DMD. baby.
The
Oh
doctor
man.
will see you now, my friends. And
So,
and
no,
honestly, we might need to be going to see a doctor of the main event, SPD, because we might be overdosing on a couple Bud Lights, if that's even possible. Because we're gonna be cheersing all night long when
I'm
Hangman
not drinking
dethrones
any Bud
Kenny.
Lights. We're doing some nice IPAs, bro.
Wow, Wolf Among Weeds, huh? Never had that one before. Look at you, just
Ooh.
man, space dust. Look at you, man. All these delicious IPAs. Good job
Even though
staying
it's in a can, I
hydrated.
gotta pour it in my Dynamite download mug right here.
You gotta
Available on our social media. Go to our Twitter right now. and
Available
find
on
our
shop
store.
dynamitedownload.com. That would be cool.
I love that mug. It's honestly one of my favorite pieces of our merch. It's
I
great.
use it every
Love
day.
It's
Use it every day.
fantastic.
You know,
Look at you
Kenny
go.
Omega versus Hangman Page. We wanted it at All Out, but we didn't get it, and we were happy. We're waiting for this because this is the spotlight of the pay-per-view. It's been the longest build. It's been the first announced match of the pay-per-view, and it's been the one that we're most excited for. And you know, it goes without saying, like this is the match that is going to be the one everyone's going to be talking about at the end of the day. You know, this card is full of great matches, but Hangman Adam Page, there's no better time than now to strike while the iron's hot with him. No better time. It shows with the crowd. It shows with what his story, his mindset is clear. His mind is clear. He's not, foggy. He's not looking, doubting himself. I think he's
Right.
full of confidence, and he's just, it's a perfect time, and to ride off into the sunset, with the horse's tail flapping in the wind with a cold brewski in your hand and gold in the other one. I think it makes perfect sense. And I would love, and I've said it before.
I hope they get a real horse to come out.
That's what I said before. I hope they bring a real horse out and he can ride off into the sunset with a real horse.
That'd be awesome, man. I would
Obviously, has
love that.
experience riding the horse, which you saw in the Stadium Stampede. So this one, hands down, I did not second guess it at all. I'm a huge Kenny Omega fan, and like you said, Mons, like his run has not gotten stale at all. I think.
I think it's been great.
I think he will still keep high momentum if he starts to feud with Danielson right away and keep that elite going, and just the rise and fall of the elite is going to be so compelling to watch over the next few months. But the time is now. Cowboy shit time is now, and we are going to end a monumental pay-per-view with Hangman Adam Page is the new champ. The baton has been is passing to him, one AEW homegrown star to another, and it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait.
Oh man, I'm with you. I'm smelling a clean sweep here. Don't know crayfish, but I don't want to. Yeah, but I think it's coming.
Get out those brooms, baby.
If it's not now, then there we go.
There we go. All right.
If it's not now, then when is it going to be for Hangman Page?
That's
right?
True.
Like,
That's
if it's another start-stop thing, if he loses this match, then nobody can ever trust that he's going to be that guy. This is the moment. This is the perfect time for it. It fits with the story. It fits with where Kenny is in his reign. There's nobody else. There's nobody else that's going to take that belt off him right now.
Totally agree.
So, this is the perfect moment, and I would be shocked if it doesn't go in Hangman Page's favor. I think that we've been ready for this. The fans are ready for it. I think Hangman's ready for it. I think that the company is ready for it. Give a guy that's homegrown that's the strap and see where it goes, because Kenny Omega has been a star all around the world. He's been a guy that's been named Wrestler of the Year before AEW was even a thought. And Kenny Omega's a guy that's just been around and done everything. And I think that if you build Hangman Page as this megastar by beating Kenny Omega in the biggest stage, oh man, that's just perfect. A perfect way to end this feud, a perfect way to end this storyline, and a perfect way to get Hangman Page to that ultimate level of being a superstar in this business.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to follow that, Bonds. I'm 100% with you, man. I think you nailed it. I think that this feels like right place, right time, right guy. Just everything is coming together exactly how it should. as SPD likes to talk about, the stars are aligning. The writing is in the stars. Writing is in the sand. However, SPD likes to say it,
Time
but I
to
love
find
it.
out who he is.
Wow.
I think it's going to happen. I think that this is meant to be. I think that the changing of the guard, and again, we look at the rest of the card.
Yes.
I'm not predicting any of the other titles to change hands. So I think that at a pay-per-view you need to have one of those you need to have a title change. I mean,
there has to be one.
There has to be one, and I think this is it.
Especially when there's only 4 a year.
Way too much sense not to.
Yep.
Absolutely
Completely agree.
I mean, man, I think this is going to be such a battle-tested warrior match and a stamina-tested, and Hangman's going to overcome all the odds. I think, as much as we don't want to see it, I love that, no everyone banned from ringside, but it's inevitable that you're going to have Callis involved, the Elite involved, Dark Order is going to show up, maybe even Bryan Danielson show up and things like that. And that'll be okay because it'll be more. You're inviting more people to the party at the end of the day. Johnny Hungy and Hangman Rampage, all on top of all the Dark Order's shoulders. I think that'll be such a way to end an epic.
John Silver turns on him and gets Kenny the belt and joins the Elite.
Yeah, there you go. I like this too. I think mine's right. I think that you could see for the first time in AEW. I think that you're going to see Hangman kick out of the ultimate finishing move, the one-winged angel. I think that would be a great visual. It would shock the hell out of the fans, and it would make that win for Hangman that much more like, oh my God. If he kicks out and then he quickly follows that up with a buckshot lariat and wins, fans will go nuts. That roller coaster of emotion of thinking he's going to lose, him kicking out, him quickly getting the win, and the arena will go nuts, man. That will be a hell of a response. It'll be so much fun to be a part of the crowd there. And again, AEW has a nice job of having those moments, man. I mean, like when we were at All Out, think about how crazy it was when we got to be there for CM Punk in Chicago. You got to be there for Bryan Danielson's return to it's like we were there
jumping off the cage.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
QT Marshall almost
beating the giant. You're right. If you're gonna be there for Full Gear weekend, you should totally go to that bowling event. Go see QT just light everybody's ass up.
Tickets are going to a charity. So
is it? It's tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bowling.
Oh, we got to check in on his Instagram.
So
I'm sure he won.
Here's all the cards right here. In true heel fashion, both of you meatballs have the same card.
Wow.
I know. And SPD, for those of you babyface lovers, join the SPD train, even though I have the Salt of the Earth on my pick. Yeah. But, the tiebreaker, which I'm a sucker for chops, I'll be keeping close count of the chops by Eddie Kingston. So whoever gets closest to that, if there is a tiebreaker, I picked a solid 26 chops. Crayfish got 33 chops.
Going high.
Bonds has got 21 chops. I don't think CM Punk necessarily has the stamina to withhold 26 or 20 more chops of Eddie Kingston. That is absolutely brutal. But, Eddie Kingston, that's one of his more powerful moves, for sure, is that chop. But looking at this, man, I have MJF, that's one I got different. I got the Cody different. And what is the other one? Oh, Bryan Danielson. So essentially, you guys, we have the same card except 3 separate matches. 3 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So when Bonds and I get them all right, it's going to come down to, can Punk handle the beating that Bryan Danielson took? Will Punk's chest turn to chop ground beef? Or
ground beef.
Will it just be
peanut butter,
light shade of pink?
Is it going to be grape preserve jam color or what?
Strawberry preserves.
So how are you guys feeling about your card as we discussed it? Is there something that you would change, even though this is in print, no changes made? But as we talk through the card, was there a match that you would kind of flip flop more? You're thinking about it.
I don't have buyer's remorse on my card.
Okay.
I do. I will say I do think there's a couple matches that could go either way.
Agreed.
I'm confident in my picks, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got a couple of them wrong. And we talked about that during that, but I think
one that you think is the most obvious to you, like looking at your card? Because I see one that like I think I struggled with the most that could potentially go the other way. Is there one that jumps out to you?
Man, it's tough. It's always tough to pick against Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, that's a tough
And
one.
you know, I love Miro, and I really am rooting for him in this one just because I would love to see him in that title picture. But Bryan Danielson's been presented in such an amazing way since he joined All Elite Wrestling, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wins just because that name value with Bryan Danielson is so much higher, just in terms of being already at that level, being a guy who's a megastar around the world, that people are going to turn off WWE to watch
Him.
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And you know, him being the world champion sooner rather than later would bring a lot of eyes to AEW.
Right.
Now,
True.
to me, that feels a little cheap personally, and I don't want it to work like that. Like, I want it to grow organically and be what it is. But I wouldn't fault Tony Khan for thinking that way with Bryan Danielson.
Cash in. Yeah.
You know, cashing on a guy who's got him on a 3-year contract, make use of those 3 years. But
he's cashing in right now on him. He's getting
he
match after
is.
match
He's having those matches, man. But that's the one I feel about. What about you guys?
You have one SPD or no?
No, I wouldn't change anything. I guess okay. If I had to pick one, you know, talking
Which one do you think
through-
you have the most likely to lose?
the most likely to lose, I think that would be the Cody Rhodes one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think that one is very. I think I'm going to be analyzing this one more than any of the other matches because I'm very invested in this story. And you know, I picked who I wanted. I picked my gut, and I picked of the raw talent. To me, on paper, you know, Pac and Cody Rhodes. I love those two guys in the ring. Nothing against El Idolo and Black. These are four pillars in the wrestling world that can steal an absolute show. This could main event any card, anywhere, anytime. Right. So this could be a flip of a coin. But in terms of storytelling, yeah, I think it makes more sense for Black and El Idolo to win, especially if they do recruit someone or do start a faction or anything like that in true heel form. But that's the only one that you know, I'm not as confident on. But what about you, Crayfish?
I think the one that I'm struggling the most with, honestly, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. You guys both picked one that are 50-50. I said it during the analysis. For some reason, I just have this feeling, even though it was a clean sweep for us, I think Jurassic Express and Christian could win that match. I don't know what it is. I just get this feeling in my gut that one stands out as a match that could go that way. I don't know.
Is it
maybe
the
I'm
entrance music where everybody's just so excited, so it's like you just want to hear it twice.
But they have it on both sides because it's all about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's true. What are you gonna do? It's gonna be like everybody's gonna be so psyched for that one.
The highlights of the entrances are gonna get everybody going for that for sure. That could be a good way to start the show off too after the opener. That could be a great one. But yeah, great talking with you guys tonight. I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun to analyze. We're gonna talk more about this.
Budge.
If you're in the chat and you're watching the show, make sure you join us tomorrow night. We're going to be live right after Rampage, and then we're going to be right there enjoying Full Gear with you guys.
Live tweeting. Join us. Live tweeting.
Going to have plenty of great content for you this upcoming weekend. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Fill out your bingo cards. Tag us.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right here.
Tag us or reply on our Twitter. Our Twitter, where we posted the bingo card. We have it posted on Twitter. You can just send us a reply there, and we'll see it. Don't worry.
Love it. Well, and we'll throw that winner up on the screen here, and we'll talk about why they were so much smarter than us.
And we will send you a chicken dinner potentially.
That's right. You guys, thank you for joining us, and buckle up, as we say here at Dynamite Download, because this week has been loaded with content. We got a Rampage that's going to be great, and then followed by Full Gear on Saturday night. So thank you guys for joining us. Send us those bingo cards, and have a great rest of your week leading up to that.
Abaddon is going to join the House of